Hi, I'm Kayla Cameron.
I'm Taylor Little.
I'm Kara Rollins.
I'm Jamie Garcia.
And I'm Kima Farah.
And we did our project on hydroponic versus traditional farming methods for lettuce. So a lot of people don't know what hydroponic farming is, and it is when you grow plants in a nutrient mineral solution with water without soil. So these are just some pictures depicting kind of what hydroponic farming methods look like. As you can see, the guy on the right, in the right picture, he's holding up almost a board. That board would have been kind of floating in that water solution that I talked about in some kind of a container. So why is this relevant? Well, water continues to be polluted and most of the world's land is developed, and those are the two things that you need for traditional farming of row crops, as I said before. And simultaneously, there's an exponential increase in the human population, and the humans have to eat. So if we're running out of land and water, how are we going to feed these humans? Well, hydroponics is a very environmentally friendly solution to meet that demand for food. So we proposed the question, if a company can't just, build their own on-site hydroponic farm, then could they order the lettuce, like the hydroponic lettuce? Would that be better than ordering traditional lettuce? That way they can have that good environmental impact and not take up more land and use more water, because hydroponics uses less water and more benefits that you'll see in a moment. So we proposed this question from the standpoint of a supplier, not a supplier, but from a restaurant located in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where we are, and we had them order a hydroponic order of lettuce from the southeast region, this red area, specifically from Georgia. And then we looked at two traditional farmers. One was located in Yuma, Arizona, which is where a lot of lettuce is produced for the United States. And we looked at a traditional producer also in El Bajo, Mexico, and that's a region that is known for producing lettuce. And also, if the U.S. is going to import any lettuce, it's typically from Mexico.
So this is the typical supply chain flow of fresh cut lettuce, and it's a pretty simple supply chain and a pretty simple process that is highly optimized. So it starts with field production, and this is obviously just where the seed is planted and the lettuce is grown, and then it moves on to the field coring process, and this is just where farmers go in and harvest the ripe lettuce, and then it's prepared for cooling, and then once it's cooled down, it is prepared to be transported to the processor. And once that occurs, then another cooling process happens and the lettuce is sorted so that only the highest quality of lettuce makes it to the next step. And so then it goes into cold storage until it is requested by a distribution center or a retailer, grocery store. It's then transported to that grocery store, retailer, restaurant, where it is either packaged or sold and priced, and it is in the hands of the consumer. So we kind of played around with how long the supply chain would take in terms of lead time, and we started it in El Bajo, Mexico, as was previously mentioned, and we took it to Fayetteville, and so we determined that that total lead time would be around 55 days because on average, just for the lettuce to grow, it takes about 45 to 55 days. And then in order just for to be transported over to Fayetteville, it's going to be about 1 day or 28 hours. And then in factoring time that it needs to be stored in the DC, it would be about 2 to 3 days. So that would be on average around 55 days, maybe shorter, maybe longer.
So Taylor just talked to you about our supplier that we chose from El Bajo, Mexico, and what that supply chain looks like for a traditional producer of lettuce. And now I'm going to talk to you a little about our hydroponic producer that we chose called Circle A Farms. And we're going to talk to you about the process that takes if we wanted to order from their firm in Georgia and then get it delivered to Fayetteville, Arkansas. So all in all, when you place an order, they can send you up to a quantity of 3,000 units of lettuce. and that takes about a week to produce. So depending on your order quantity will depend on that lead time as far as production. Once you order that, that's 7 days, and it takes about 2 days to be transported on the truck to Arkansas. And they will deliver it to your area of business. So total, all in all, as a rough estimate, about 9 days for lead time. So it's fairly short with this certain supplier for hydroponic lettuce. So going back to that traditional farming method, we talked about that supply chain. Above right here is a picture of our producer, El Bajo, Mexico, that we use as an example. Overall positives that if you order from a traditional producer for lettuce, you're going to get a higher order quantity than you would a hydroponic, and you're also going to get a lower cost per unit because you're ordering more, so you've got that economies of scale under your belt. In contrast to that, some of the negatives that we found from ordering from a traditional producer is that you're going to have that longer lead time that Taylor talked to you about for 55 days. In addition to that, there's also uncertainty with the supply chain length, and then also your seasonality, there's weather disasters that can ruin your crops, things like that that you have to take into consideration. Also, last but not least, sustainability. Like Kayla mentioned, it's not super good for the environment. And for hydroponic supply chain, we found that it was kind of the opposite. So hydroponic production only uses about 1/4 of the water that is used for traditional growing. So it's really high in sustainability, which is a big value to a lot of millennials in 2016 and upcoming generations. Sustainability is a huge initiative for a lot of companies. So we believe this is gonna be something that grows. In addition to that, there is a shorter lead time, and then you have that more consistency and reliability. You know what you're getting each time you order a product, and the weather, the seasonality, risks like that don't affect the product. It's the same every time with the greenhouse. However, you are gonna have a higher cost per unit, and then you're gonna get a lower order quantity. So you're gonna spend more money on things like that for your units. So after talking to Circle A Farms, the hydroponic producer we decided to partner with and use for this project, you can save 1/4 of the water that's used on traditional growing by doing hydroponics in general. They have available 12,000 holes for production for growing lettuce. They grow 3,000 units weekly, and then that product that they grow has a 2 to 3 week shelf life of staying completely fresh. So it's a really high quality product. In addition to that, this firm is year round. So like I said, you're gonna get that consistent, reliable product that you're looking for each time, no matter of the season. So overall, we decided to evaluate those pros and cons of both supply chains and both productions, and hydroponic is really highly specialized. So that being said, we think that you're gonna put a lot into it, but when it comes down to it, your return on your investment is gonna be great, because you're going to result in a higher quality product that has the potential to improve your sales percentages in terms of having that competitive advantage over your competitors when they don't have the highest quality during the seasonality, when production is low for lettuce and the weather isn't right and it's not getting the vitamins and minerals it needs. You have the potential to switch those consumers from traditional over to your brand, so you can grow your brand and you can afford those costs to make that lettuce. And overall, in a 5 to 10 year period, you would start to see some total cost savings, and it's just from a sense that your lead time is shorter, and that if you partner with somebody, eventually the specialized production is going to become more increasingly bigger, so you're going to get those bigger bulks that you want, and then you're going to end up saving money on production and transportation and risk in general. That was our source that we had. Thank you for your time.